Thank you all for being here. My name is Lucy Varpetyan. I am the immediate past chairwoman of the Armenian Bar Association. It's been fantastic serving this organization in that capacity. I do want to ask the board members who are here in this room to maybe just stand up and be recognized, because this work does not get done unless we are doing it all together. And while some of us may carry an official title, let me just say the work does not get done unless we are all doing it together. And in the last 3 years, this organization has come together in the most remarkable way, serving both the legal profession and the Armenian nation. One of those people who always has served the Armenian nation in her unique way is Vice Dean Anahid Gharakhanian. To introduce her properly, I'm going to need the assistance of Armen Hovanesyan. Armen worked with Anahid while she was still in private practice. I can tell you that Anahid, I was a student when she was a speaker at Loyola Law School on one of these career programs where they were talking about practice and how to select your practice area. And I remember at the time, and Anahid isn't too far ahead of me from an age perspective, but I was so moved by how she presented the profession and how she carried herself as a lawyer, as a woman, and as an Armenian woman. As many of us know, sometimes the challenges for Armenian women are slightly different than what you see around us. So over the years, we've continued to work with Anahid through various projects, and I'm going to save some of those comments that she has been instrumental in putting together at Southwestern for when we honor Southwestern. Don't want to repeat myself. But if there was one word that I would use, I'm going to use several words after saying the one word I would use to describe Anahid, that's integrity, that's humility, and overall, probably the most amazing role model that Southwestern students can have. And I think they are truly lucky to have you there. She is the advisor to the Armenian Law Student Association. And so they are really blessed to have you there. So Armen's going to say things that are a little bit more profound. He says it better, I don't know. So I'm going to ask him.
You're the team. You're the future. You're the present. You're the substance, and if we can go forward, it's with you and with us. Tonight is a very personal evening for me. It's personal because of Anahid Gharakhanian. It's personal because of you. It's personal because of the flag and the faith that knowingly or unknowingly we have pledged allegiance to. We have sleepless nights, we have uncomfortable mornings, but know, for those who don't know Armenian, Yekhbars and Kurds, brothers and sisters, you're it, we are it. If Armenian civilization as we know it in Artsakh is going to have a redux, a return, a right to return, it comes through you. through your best. And let me talk to you about best. Anahid and I, this again, it's very personal. Where's Anahid? Kulik. We started in a big New York law firm. I was the mid-level associate. She was the baby associate. And we stuck it. We stuck to it. You know why we stuck to it? Because we're Armenian. And we did better than others. We excelled more than others. But then there was a fork in the road. Anahid, we think about when we're born and then later on in life, what should have been, what could have been, and then what became. And if there's any linkage between what should have been, what could have been, and what became, it's Professor and Dean Anahid Gharakhanian. Not because, but especially respectful of Southwestern. She was built right. She was built right, and it didn't stay there. She shared it with so many of you, and Southwestern law students here, and Southwestern's dean here today. She shared with us those eternal values that bring us here today, to the team. That if Ardak Beglarians and Geram Stepanians, the Ombud's people of Armenia and Artsakh, of Artsakh, not whose confreres, whose brothers and sisters underwent genocide. That's why we're here. You are the team. Anahid, you have been able to accomplish the linkage of legacy and meaning and longevity. And most times people who are honored, you know why they're honored? They're honored because of their own accomplishments, and not so much what they brought out in others. Anahid Gharakhanian, my dear friend, professor, vice dean, is being honored tonight in what she has brought out in us, and brought out in you, in being the friend and the auntie, because we have a lot of aunties in the Armenian community and among the law students. Պետք է ասեմ հայերենով, որ շատ հազվագյուտ է էսենց բաներ, որ այն մարդիկը, որ պետք է ճանաչվեն, քարեր ու վեր, տասնյակ տարիներ ու վեր չեն ճանաչվել։ Ես պետք է ասեմ, իմ բզդիկուլիկս չի ուզում էստեղ հիմա գալ, բայց պիտի գա ստիպված։ So what I've said is basically that I'm forcing my young sister, Anahid Gharakhanian, to come to the podium. But let us all also reflect. It's tough times, and we're not the last people standing, because you know what you all know, and I know that I just went over, but they say when you walk into law school, they say look to your left and look to your right. And next year, one of you is going to be gone, or two of you is going to be gone. Again, in the name of Anahid Gharakhanian and Ara Der Gevorkan, her, has anybody ever said a beautiful husband? Beautiful husband? I will say that we are not only the survivors, but the bearers of the torch. Sirem Liana.
So I've known Armin and Lucy for many years. And they're always witty, they're always so eloquent, they're always so passionate in their remarks. And to have this honor bestowed on me and to have these incredible words said about me by two dear friends is just incredible. I thank you both. I thank the Armenian Bar Association for this honor, and I have to be honest, like, this feels really great. And this that I'm referring to is the recognition that I'm receiving, but also the recognition of the importance of educators and what we do. The elation that I'm feeling right now is really, truly my everyday. Being an educator is a privilege. It's a position of trust and responsibility and immense joy. Assisting law students gain the knowledge and develop the skills and character to effectively represent clients, be an officer of the legal system, seek improvement of the law and access to justice in our community here, but also for some of our students in our ancestral homelands. And when I learn about their achievements, their trials and errors, but ultimately their successes, their achievements, while in school, after they graduate, it is incredibly rewarding. And this keeps happening with every new group of students who are part of the Southwestern community. In the law school world, we have the students for a short period of time, 2, 3, 4 years. And through that short duration, deep relationships are forged, and they have to be deep. Because as you all know, being in law school isn't just another academic, just another school experience. It's preparation for the challenging, the incredibly responsible work of being a legal professional. And so this requires the deep relationship with the teacher, multi-dimensional relationship conversations as we try to mold the next generation of attorneys. I'm grateful for the foundation that I had in helping me become an educator. I had excellent mentors and supporters while I was in law firm practice. Armin was certainly one of them, a superb writer with his pencil, sometimes behind his ear, who would mark up my writing. And I also benefited and grew through my connection with the Armenian Bar Association. So Armenian Bar is turning 35. I started law school 35 years ago. So in 1992, I was a baby attorney, and Armenian Bar was kind of a baby bar, but very precocious with a very ambitious agenda. So I had some interest in learning and developing a practice in the area of family law, domestic violence. I wanted to do pro bono work. And the Armenian Bar Association gave me the encouragement, the forum for that work, translating domestic violence informational materials to Armenian, holding informational and training sessions. I got my first domestic violence pro bono case through a call from Krekorian. And that set me off on a number of domestic violence pro bono matters that I handled when I was at the firm. I'm grateful that the collaborations with the Armenian Bar Association have continued on a larger scale and through Southwestern Law School for the over 20 years that I've been at the school, both for the benefit of law students here, but also to serve and help legal professionals and do institution building in Armenia and Artsakh. I don't know if any other law school would so readily and generously support members of a new immigrant minority community, as well as our interest in assisting our legal organizations and doing that institution building in our ancestral homeland, but Southwestern has done that. And this embrace is emblematic of the remarkable institution, truly remarkable institution, that Southwestern is and has been for over 100 years, empowering students from all backgrounds and promoting justice near and far. I feel honored and so fulfilled to contribute to Southwestern's mission and to work alongside phenomenal colleagues, some of whom are here tonight. I appreciate you being here. I want to single out Southwestern's Dean and President Darby Dickerson, who's been an inspiring mentor and supporter. And huge congratulations are due to her, wait for this, hold applause, for very recently being named among the 20 most influential people in legal education in the entire country. Actually, she's in the top 10. So when I first came to Southwestern, kind of the singular, overwhelming feeling that I had was like, wow, who knew law school could be a happy place? It was not my experience. My friend Sarah Lee Whitson and I don't know if you experienced the law school differently, but it was just not a happy place. But
by the way, they went to Harvard Law School.
But I came to Southwestern, I thought, this is a law school. This is a place that's focused on the students and the students' education and their preparation for practice. And I still feel that way 21 years later. Part of it is the phenomenal colleagues that I have. But the heart of the place is our students. They have tremendous drive. They lift each other up. They strive for betterment of their life, themselves, their community, and service to the profession. I have been involved with the school's externship program for almost 20 years. I talk to a lot of judges, a lot of attorneys who supervise our students. We do about 400 externship placements a year, so that's a big number. And over, I hear how phenomenal our students are. How smart, professional, with a prodigious can-do attitude. Some of our students are here. I applaud them and students from other law schools who are attending this wonderful event, and I thank them for choosing to pursue a truly noble, versatile, rewarding profession and making my work so fulfilling and wonderful. Thank you.
Mr. Beglayan and Mr. Stepanian to come up to say just a couple words.
Thank you. I'll be very short for two reasons. The first reason is because the day of my long talk is tomorrow. The second reason is that it's very hard to talk more long after these three great speakers. That's why I signed everything whatever was said about Vice Dean Gharakhanian and Southwestern Law School. And I would like to say that once I was signing in 2019 the memo as Human Rights Ombudsman of Republic of Artsakh, even I would skeptic that it will take long, because I told Lucy also that Azerbaijanis will push. But Lucy said that we have the shield of Anahid Gharakhanian. And I am very happy that Vice Dean, you are there and you could communicate your colleagues about the value-based law education. Because human rights means dignity and value. And the most vulnerable groups need the most dignity and the most attention and value. That's why, even after this, after the genocide of the Artsakh people, and after the temporary loss of Artsakh, we are happy that you decided to continue this course, this memorandum, and to contribute with your way to the struggle of our people for our return and for our safe and dignified life in our ancestral homeland. Thank you.
I would like to join the words of gratitude expressed by Mr. Krekorian and say, as a person who signed the renewal of MOU, I can say that it is really a great and unique opportunity for our students of Artsakh, from Artsakh. When Lucy said that Robert Avedisyan and then Arman Aserian were surprised, saying that if they know that we are from unrecognized states, maybe the attitude would change. And actually, this response we, Artsakhis, heard from many different institutions, including educational institutions. No one or no institution wanted or wants to deal with people who are from recognized states. And in this term, and from this perspective, Southwestern really was a very successful and very unique case of being very free, being very open to open its doors for people who are facing such kind of restrictions because of not being citizens of recognized states. Thank you very much for that, and thank you very much for the courage, for the readiness to give opportunity to all. And thank you very much for the courage of keeping continuity with the students of Artsakh. We highly appreciate, and I hope that in this year we will have 2 new students in the Southwestern Law School. Thank you.
Thank you, Tali. Thank you, Mariam. Thank you for the committee that put this wonderful weekend together, and thank you all for coming. I wasn't one of the founding members of the Bar Association, but I joined a couple of years after it was founded. And I remember at the time Rafi Ovanesian talking about how few Armenian attorneys we have in the U.S. And it's shocking, but it's fantastic that we have over 500 members, active members, and over 1,000 other members who have participated on and off through different programs over the last few years. It's an amazing organization that has really grown, has developed our professional presence in the community, and allowed us to grow alongside of our community. So I'm old. I'm old. It's also fitting that we have our guests here from Artsakh. I remember in 2018 when we had our Bar Association meeting in Shushi, we've lost a lot, and I try telling my non-Armenian friends what happened in Artsakh. It's a genocide, clearly by law, but people people say, oh yeah, it's a territory, but it wasn't part of Armenia proper. And I think the thing about Artsakh, anytime you meet an Armenian for the first time, what's the first thing that Armenians always tell a non-Armenian? Anywhere in the world. What do we tell them? Because it's an Armenian is like, it's like a dinosaur, right? Like, what's an Armenian? Oh, we're the first nation to adopt Christianity, 301. Right? I mean, that's the first thing we tell a non-Armenian who's never seen an Armenian, never met an Armenian. And it's so much a part of our identity, that it's the first thing that we mention when we meet someone. And our identity is tied with Artsakh. Because Grigor Lusavorovich, Gregory the Illuminator, came to Artsakh, right? Amaras Monastery is built where he had it built. His grandson is buried there. Mesrov Mashtod, Saint Mesrov, who developed the Armenian alphabet in the 5th century, where did he do that at? The first school that taught Armenian language, Armenian alphabet, was at Amaras in Artsakh. Our identity as a people is tied with Artsakh. It's not a territory of Armenia. It is the essence of Armenia, of who we are, who we identify ourselves with. And so I'm proud that our guests are here from Artsakh, and I want to let them know, and I think all of us want to let them know, that Artsakh is not forgotten. Artsakh is part of our identity. And while it may be temporarily occupied today, it will be reclaimed by the people who came from Artsakh. And so that's my soapbox for today. Now, I have the privilege of introducing the recipient of our honorary membership. And people say, oh, it's an honorary membership. Honorary memberships are very, very few and far between in this organization because we're lawyers. We want everyone to pay. So when you go down the list of our honorary members, you don't find too many. But I'll just give you a few of the names of some of the names that you may recognize. Former Governor of California, George Dugmejan, honorary member. David Balabanian, the first chairman of this Armenian Bar Association 35 years ago, honorary member. Judge Jack Hugassian. Who remembers Judge Jack Hugassian? Jack Hugassian was on our board for years and years and proudly served us from Waukegan, Illinois, honorary member. Justices Baxter, Arabian, Federal Judge Tevresian, Larry Burns, federal judges are honorary members. There's only 20 of them. It's not quite like Saturday Night Live where you get the host and you get the 5-time jacket. I was looking for a 20 jacket for our newest inductee tonight, but it is a select group. And I'm proud today to introduce our newest honorary member, Council Chairman Paul Krekorian, but let me say a few words about him. Ahmed Gahai. Just like me. Okay? More important than that, grew up in the San Fernando Valley, just like me. More important than that, he's the son of Kharpert. His grandfather, his grandparents were from Kharpert. His great uncle was Khachatur Nahigian. I remember you've told that story at every podium. You've had an opportunity to talk about the Armenian genocide and how his great uncle was one of the first victims of the genocide at Euphrates College. I feel like I've been educated by Paul. I don't think there's an age difference, or it certainly isn't significant if there is, but I feel like I've been educated by him through the years. And while we all know him as council president, the guy who rebuilt Los Angeles City Council after the terrible racist fiasco that went on in council a couple of years ago, he's more than that. He was He's one of the board members. He worked at the right hand of J. Michael Hagopian for years before anybody knew who Paul Krekorian was, quietly working to help the Armenian Film Foundation tell the story of the Armenian people and our plight. He's paid his dues. He worked in the state assembly. I remember calling people for his election when he was elected to the 43rd district. He quickly rose rank. You know, it's one thing to be a politician. It's another thing to be a politician who keeps his nose clean. Am I right, Anthony? And Paul is one of the few, like Anthony, who have done that consistently throughout a long political career. And so it gives us great pride. Not that you're an Armenian elected to office, that you're a good Angelino, you're a good American, and as a result of that, you raise the stature of all of us as a community and as a people. It gives us great pride to invite you and induct you as an honorary member tonight. In a prominent location. Yeah, it reads, the Armenian Bar Association, on the occasion of its 35th anniversary annual meeting, bestows its preeminent award of honorary membership upon Paul Krekorian, President of the Los Angeles City Council, in recognition of an enduring career of humble and mighty public service, for the impeccability and vitality of his word, for the elegance and serenity of his spirit, and for the inspiring lifelong example of a gifted gentleman and brilliant leader.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much, Steve, and thank you, everyone. That was such a generous, incredible introduction, and the words inscribed on that award are humbling indeed. So thank you all very much, and that will have a very prominent place in Los Angeles City Hall, I can tell you. At least for the next 11 months. After that, I'm not so sure. We'll see what happens after that. For those of you who don't know, I'm turned out at the end of the series of service in the Los Angeles City Hall and City Council. And who knows? Maybe I'll be practicing law again after that. So my honorary membership comes very well timed. And I'm so delighted to be with all of you. I'm always happy to be and at home with lawyers and judges. It takes me back to my days of practice. But more than that, it's an honor to be with all of you who've devoted your life to careers pursuing justice. Because there's maybe no more important calling that any of us can pursue than that which you've all chosen to take. So I'm grateful to you for this award, but I'm also grateful to you for the direction that you've chosen to take with your professional lives. And Steve, speaking of feeling old, it sure doesn't seem like 35 years ago to me when the Armenian Bar Association was founded, and I well remember as a baby lawyer seeing, so many of the lawyers that I respected and admired in our community coming together to form the Armenian Bar Association. And to your point about Rafi's comments, it was, it was kind of fledgling at the start, because there weren't all that many people who were part of the bar at that time. And so when I see the progress that this organization has made over the last 35 years, it's stunning. And so I'm also grateful to you as an organization for becoming such an indispensable leader of our community, this organization. We have many organizations that do many great things. Many of you are parts of those organizations and leaders in those organizations. But what the Armenian Bar Association does, differently than everyone else, is bring your professional expertise, your understanding of the law in service of the Armenian nation and the Armenian diaspora. And in both of those respects, really, the accomplishments that you've already seen and the work that you still have to do is great indeed. And so I'm very grateful. And Steve, of course, mentioned the challenges that we face now. And being here with heroes like Baron Beglarian and Baron Stepanian, it's truly humbling to all of us, and it's also a call to action for all of us, because it's very easy for us right now, and I've seen it broadly across this community. It's very easy for us to indulge in self-pity and to say, oh, it's so terrible what's happened, and that's true. But we do play the long game, and the horrors that this community has gone through, the horrors that Artsakh has gone through in recent years, has been difficult to accept for all of us, and none of us should ever accept it. And none of us should ever accept it as being permanent, because it's not. The land that has been ours for thousands of years will always be ours, and there will be temporary setbacks. This is one of those, but it's a temporary setback. And that's where so many of you play an important role, because we've seen challenges under international law, for example, to disputes, and we're seeing a lot more of that now. This is a place where your expertise is going to be really critically important to the Armenian cause and to the cause of Artsakh, and to challenging the genocidal actions of Azerbaijan and all of the other violations of human rights and international law that Azerbaijan engages in regularly and promises to continue to engage in. So the role that the Armenian Bar Association will play in bringing those crimes to international attention and pursuing justice is going to be critically important. And as always, pursuing the rights of Armenians here in the United States and around the world. I want to wrap up, because I feel like the introduction was so generous, anything I have to say is diminishment after that. But I will say this, for those of you, many of you who are in Los Angeles have visited with me in City Hall, and you've come into my lobby, and you've seen that in the lobby of my City Hall office, I have a big poster of Jackie Robinson, and Jackie Robinson stealing home. And a lot of people think that it's odd that I would have a Jackie Robinson poster in my office, but I put it there intentionally when I was elected as a reminder, because yes, I'm the first Armenian ever elected in the city of Los Angeles, and yes, I was the first Armenian to represent this area in the state legislature, and first of a number of things. First is good, it's never sufficient. And so for those of you, especially who are young lawyers or soon-to-be lawyers, people who are anticipating the direction of your career still, I would very much like to encourage you to consider a career in government, consider a career in the political arena, but in public service, because the skills that you have are skills that this community is counting upon you to utilize to best effect. And if I come and go as city council member, hopefully my successor will be Assemblymember Adrian Nazarian, who I think had to move on to an event, but he will hopefully be following me on the city council, and I hope you'll all work hard to make sure that happens. But if it's just one or two people getting elected and then moving on, it's important for that person, but it's not important enough for our community. So my goal has always been to kick in the door and make sure that lots of other people follow. So it's incumbent upon you, the young lawyers in this room, to really think about how you can best serve our country and the Armenian nation at the same time through careers in government. And I want you to think about it this way. Some of us have fought in the Armenian struggle in peril of our own lives. Not me, but some in this room have, like the heroes I mentioned before. Not all of us can take up a Kalashnikov and defend the Armenian cause and the Armenian nation in that way. But I want you to think of your Kalashnikov as being your laptop. You know, the things that you can do can be every bit as important and as powerful and as impactful, and you have a duty to do it. We can't be successful in our careers here in the United States and be content with our own success. We have to utilize that success and those skills and those tools in defense of Armenians everywhere. That's our duty. I hope that we will all continue to be devoted to that duty. I'll certainly continue to do my best in whatever position comes next in doing that, and I want to thank you for recognizing my work to date. As I say, that award will have a very prominent place in whatever office I'm sitting in next. So thank you all very, very much.
For the pro bono work that she did at Chadbourne, the firm awarded her monetarily for it, which she then turned around and made available to students at the Armenian Bar Association who devoted a minimum of 40 hours in a period to work related to domestic violence. So I remember that very specifically. I want to show you the summer 1995 newsletter of the Armenian Bar Association. We used to have them on paper. On page 2 of this newsletter, at the top you'll see the guy that's all the way at the back, Vahem Masrolian, who was our first executive director. But the article down below says, article on Karabakh published in Southwestern Law Review. I said summer 1995. And it says, in the first issue of this year's Southwestern University Law Review, a student comment regarding Karabakh was published. Nagorno-Karabakh's right to political independence under international law, an application of the principle of self-determination, was written by Armen Tamzarian. Armen Tamzarian is the Honorable Armen Tamzarian now, who is with the Los Angeles Superior Court. The article focuses on the following question: does Karabakh have a right to self-determination under international law? I think this was the very first article that was published about Artsakh. On page 6 of the same exact newsletter, it says Armenian law students to establish Armenia exchange program. The byline is Lucy Barpetian. I was a student there at the time. I was a student member of the Armenian Bar Association. And the Armenian Law Student Association, ALSA, at Southwestern University School of Law, has launched a campaign to establish formal ties between Southwestern and the law department of Yerevan State University to enable the academic exchange of students, scholars, and legal practitioners. That relationship with Southwestern brought to Southwestern, with a full ride, multiple students over the course of the next several years. That relationship that Southwestern established with the Armenian Bar Association has come back many times over. I'm looking at an article that our Student Affairs Committee Chair Alexandr Giragosyan wrote maybe now 5 years ago. And he said the first ALSA chapter was founded at Southwestern Law School in 1985 to 86 academic year. Former members recall organizing student-led relief effort to assist the victims of the Spitak earthquake in December 1988, and working closely with the Armenian Bar Association at its founding in 1989. So the ALSA actually predates the Armenian Bar Association. The other thing I want to share with you is in 2013, so I'm not done yet, right, with all of the crisscrosses between Southwestern and the Armenian community. The next thing I want to share with you is in 2013, Southwestern, the Armenian Bar, and through a large part, the contribution, vision, and oversight of Vice Dean Gharakhanian, established an Armenian fellow who worked in Armenia. This was a U.S. lawyer who worked in Armenia with the Ministry of Justice, and more recently, and then on the legal education front, by providing American-trained legal professionals with assistance in the development of Armenia's legal system. So that program continued for several years. And let me fast forward to 2019, when we had two ombudspersons from Armenia and Artsakh visit the U.S. as part of our 30th annual meeting. And we had a meeting at Southwestern. And after the meeting, Dean Gharakhanian reached out to me and said, I know what you're going to ask. You know how much easier it is when somebody asks the question you want to ask so that you don't have to ask it? She said, our school wants to set up an MOU so that we give an opportunity to students to come to Southwestern to receive an LLM. That relationship blossomed. I do want to say, though, that when I received that news, I reached out to Artsakh Ambassador Robert Avedisyan. I said, I've got great news, this is happening. And he said, Lucy, don't get your hopes up. As soon as Southwestern realizes that Artsakh is an unrecognized state, they will roll back their offer. It's not going to happen. I said, no, you don't understand, Anahid is over there. He said, no, it's not going to happen. I said, okay. So of course it happened, and the first student that we had come out, Zakir Simonian and I were on the phone just talking with him. And after the second call, his name is Arman Asarian. He was a war veteran when he came, actually. He was he served in the 2020 war. The second Zoom call that we had with him, the steer in headlights, he said, Lucy, do they know? I said, do they know what? He said, do they know that Artsakh is an unrecognized country? I said, yes, they know. He said, and they still want me to come. I said, yes, they want you to come. So that student was followed by two more students, and last year, the two students who were going to come could not leave Artsakh because of the blockade. They could not leave to take the TOEFL, and they were unable to come. The other really significant and the heaviest lift of all came, we started discussions in the spring of 2022 about organizing a symposium at Southwestern. We'd never done that. How do we know how to put on a symposium? But Professor Michael Epstein, who's sitting in the back of the room now, said, oh, this is what we do. And he walked us through the entire process. He shared with us every day how to put a symposium together, how to bring this thing together. And we had a small committee, and I remember it was September 2022. Zavin Sargsyan and I got on the Zoom call. The two of us were the first to get on. Another horrible thing had happened. The two of us, to Artsakh, and the two of us just couldn't bring ourselves to even greet each other. And Professor Michael Epstein came on, and he's like, hi, how's it going? And he kept trying to get us to speak, and we just couldn't. And finally I said, Professor Michael Epstein, something horrible has happened. And he said, I know. I've been following everything from the moment I engaged with this process. And not only did he continue to follow everything, he continued to share that message to everywhere he went. He went to a program in France. He talked to them about the symposium that was happening. Why is a symposium at Southwestern so important? Well, the topic was social media norms in post-Soviet territorial conflicts. That symposium produced 10 legal articles that are going to be published in the Southwestern Law Journal for International Media and Entertainment. At a time where we have no legal precedent, here's a law journal that has published 10. That's pretty rare. So all of these things to say that we owe a great debt of gratitude to Southwestern. And you know, it's not just because we think so, but as Anahid said, the National Journal recognized Southwestern, the 20 most influential people in legal education. These are people that are major forces in shaping legal education. And through they seek nominations, and then after the nominations, they ask every law school dean to rate them. And so in the top 20, there's 2 from Southwestern. Not in the top 20, in the top 10. In the top 10 at Southwestern. So that comes a large part through the leadership and the vision of Dean Darby Dickerson. She is the 12th dean and the 2nd female to join Southwestern in July of 2021. Funny coincidences happen. She was also at John Marshall Law School and helped John Marshall Law School transition to Illinois, to the University of Illinois Chicago Law School. And wouldn't you know it, Professor Ann Lucene, many of us know, was at John Marshall for the longest time, and I'm sure you worked together. Yes. She was also, she started her full-time academic career at Stetson. Why is that important? There was a time when Artsakh wanted to participate in the Nuremberg moot court competition, and after the team got there, the Azerbaijani team put up a protest and almost got their participation dismissed. There's a lot of work that went into trying to get them to be able to compete. Keep in mind, there's a bunch of law students. They used to practice with books, right? Not Westlaw or Lexis. They would look up cases in books. And so we helped them with the coaching. And so when they got to Nuremberg and they were denied, ultimately they were allowed to participate under the title of University in Stepanakert. The second year when they applied, they were summarily dismissed. And Armen Hovanessian said, we'll create our own moot court competition in Artsakh. And guess what moot court competition went there? It was one that Dean Darby Dickerson had started years before at Stetson Law School. She says on the school's website, we live in challenging times, but with challenge there is always opportunity, and Southwestern is a place of incredible opportunity. 2 days ago, we went with our Artsakh delegation to Southwestern and we met with the dean. And she said, you're always welcome. Your students are always welcome here. So this program that we had that started in 2019 continues to today. And for that, we are so grateful to you. Thank you very much. Come on up.
Wow, this is an amazing honor. First, let me congratulate the co-recipients tonight, President of the Council. Thank you for your service and your leadership. Anahid, you are a valued colleague. You are such a wonderful person. You have impacted positively thousands and thousands of law students. And as said in your introduction, you're so humble about it. You never shine the light on yourself. So I'm so happy that you're being honored tonight. Congratulations. Lucy and I must have had a mind melt because a lot of things that I was going to say, she has covered. But there's a little sadness tonight. There's someone not here with us, and that's Robert Filibosian. Robert, a distinguished attorney, public servant, an alum, longtime member of our board of trustees, proud Armenian American. His legacy inspired so many to public service, to law. He is missed. I know that we shared him, and I know you miss him as well, and I know he is with us in his spirit. And you saw, I was going to have everyone stand, you saw the impact in this community of Southwestern. It has an amazing legacy of service, of providing opportunity to those who have talent and drive and might not be accepted other places. And we are so proud of that history and legacy and of members of the Armenian community who are so dedicated and creative and are amazing lawyers and amazing leaders. And the students, thank you for coming tonight. And thank you for the work you do. You really keep what is going on in Armenian Artsakh in the forefront. And you keep us talking about it. So you keep doing that. You keep pushing. You keep talking about it. Southwestern has, as I mentioned, a very rich legacy of fostering legal education for historically underrepresented groups. For those of you who may not know or may not have been following, more than 50% of our student body are students of color. Nearly 50% are first gen, and I will tell you something. Our definition of first gen is much stricter than many other places. Our definition is that neither parent attended college. If we use the traditional definition of neither parent graduated from college, I think we're probably well into the 70% on that. We also boast and celebrate about 15% Armenian students. We're pretty confident, although they don't keep a record, so we can't fact check this, but we're pretty confident that we have the highest percentage of Armenian American law students in the United States, and we celebrate that. We're very, very proud of our collaboration with the Armenian Bar Association, and we're very honored to be here with you on your 35th anniversary. Lucy mentioned, things Southwestern did, but we can only make this happen with you participating with us. So Anahid brings in so many of you each year in the Succeeding in Law event and engages our alums of Armenian and Iranian heritage to encourage, to inspire the prospective law students who are thinking about us or other schools. We talked about the symposium. Michael Epstein, thank you for being such a leader on that. But again, without your ideas, without you showing up, without you, helping to support these ideas, we can't do it. It takes two, and we're glad to be part of that too. We are also incredibly honored that the Armenian Bar Association championed the Memorandum of Understanding that we entered with the Human Rights Defenders Offices of the Republics of Armenia and Artsakh to provide full scholarships for LLM students. We're so proud to have your students as our alums, and we hope that there are going to be many more. And as we were talking about some things that Southwestern is doing, like offering a fully online JD program that does not have a residency requirement, we're hoping we can expand some of those educational opportunities and have more of the students from Armenian Artsakh participate with us. So in closing, thank you so much. This is very heartfelt gratitude to you for this prestigious recognition. We are going to find a wonderful place. I think our law librarian is going to be arm wrestling me, whether this goes in the law library or up in the dean's suite, but it will have a prominent place. And for those of you affiliated with Southwestern, come by and see it. We look forward to deepening our relationship with you to promote excellence, inclusivity, and justice.
Thank you all for coming, and it is my great honor to welcome you all to the opening reception of the ABA's 35th anniversary annual meeting. So 30 is a long time for an organization, but it's also a very short time for Armenians, as we know. After all, we talk in centuries and millennia, right? We recognize that we play a long game. Nevertheless, it's a very historic anniversary, and you can all now say you were part of it. We are so thrilled that Mr. Krekorian is being bestowed the title of honorary member of the association tonight. We are also blessed to be able to recognize Southwestern Law School, and Dean Dickerson is here with us. And we are also recognizing from Southwestern Law School Vice Dean Anahid Gharakhanian. They are pillars of the community, and they have given so much. And I hope all three of our honorees, I hope tonight we can do justice to what your dedication and service mean to all of us, and how deeply you have touched us. It's been a very difficult year for all of us, but to be here today with Mr. Ardak Krekorian and Gharakhanian is like a miracle. It's a ray of hope for all of us that they are here and they are safe, and that we can work together on ways to help them and the forcibly displaced Armenians of Artsakh. We all have a lot of healing to do and a lot of work to do, but it all begins with hope and community, and you have brought it to us here today. Thank you. I hope you will join us tomorrow at the annual meeting. We have a great lineup. As you know, we will have Armenia's human rights defender, Ms. Anahid Manasyan, Ardak Krekorian and Kerem Stepanian. We also will have Rohit Chopra of the Consumer Financial Bureau, who's joining us by Zoom, and we will have a great panel of top practitioners in the LA area, including Mariam, who you just met. So I really hope you can join us, and I want to call Steve Dadayan, our vice chair, so he can present the first recipient. Thank you.
Just very quickly, we want to also thank Senator Portantino for the wonderful certificate. And the resolution is brought to the Armenian Bar Association. If you don't mind, if we can take a photo with you with the resolution, we'd appreciate that.
So Stephen reminded me to plug this scholarship. So for future lawyers, the state of California has a $250,000 scholarship at Hastings. And the only qualification other than being academically able to get into school is to be a California resident who gets a degree from AUA. If you're a California resident and you get a master's or a bachelor's from AUA, you're eligible for a $250,000 scholarship to Hastings. And there are 6 of them sitting there, waiting for someone to go to AUA, go get a 1-year master's degree, and then to get a free law school education. So, and to the ombudsman, it just breaks my heart for what's going on, and I just want to say thank you. One of my greatest honors was being invited to go to ARTSOC post 44-day war, and I just will always cherish, and it breaks my heart of what I saw there and what is continuing to go on. But tonight I'm here to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Armenian Bar Association, so congratulations.
To do something, you know, with all that energy and all the emotion that you have. I do want to wrap it up. Thank you for coming, and I hope I'll see you tomorrow.